Hey y'all, in this lesson we're going to look at analyzing linear equations. By the end of this lesson, we want to be able to write and graph linear equations in the form y equals mx. In proportional relationships, we can use any point to find the slope and write an equation. So that is what we will do in this lesson. If we are writing an equation from the graph, we first want to find the slope of the line. In the last lesson, we learned that slope is rise over run, or we can calculate the rise by subtracting the y coordinates of 2 points and calculate the run by subtracting the x coordinates of the same points. Here on the graph, we can see the 2 points they are comparing are 1575 and 24,120. We can see that the graph indicates that the run is 9 and the rise is 45. So we can calculate that by taking 120 minus 75 and 24 minus 15. Again, the y values subtracted and the x values subtracted. We will get that 45 over 9 that they have in the graph. And when we divide that out, we get 5. So the slope on this graph is 5. What is important to notice is that if you take 120 and divide by 24, you will get 5. Or if you take 75 and divide by 15, you will get 5. So for any ordered pair, x comma y, that is in a proportional relationship, you can simply divide y over x and you will get the slope. Now that we know that the slope is 5, we can write an equation. For any proportional relationship, we can write an equation in the form y equals mx, where m is the slope and it is multiplying x. So this is just a fact. Therefore, the equation for this graph, we will replace the m with 5 and have y equals 5x. Here is a problem for you to try. Remember, find the slope of the graph and then write an equation. Important, notice the negative signs. Our second example, we are going to graph an equation on our coordinate plane. So we just looked at looking at a graph and writing an equation. Now we're going to take an equation and put it on a graph. First job is to identify the slope. Since this is in the form y equals mx, we know that m, or the slope, is 1/2. This slope is going to tell us to plot points. Every time we move right 2, we move up 1. This comes from our slope formula, where slope is rise over run, or change in y over change in x, or simply moving up or down and moving right. Because it is positive, we need to move up. So now that we know the slope, we will graph. We will start at 0, 0, because a proportional relationship always goes through 0, 0. So we put our first point there. Then we will put another point right 2 and up 1 according to our slope. Finally, we simply have to connect those points with a line, and we have graphed this equation. Here are 2 final problems for you to try. The first is write an equation from the graph, so identify the slope and write the equation. And the second one is to graph the equation that is given to you on the grid. To summarize analyzing linear equations, the equation for a proportional relationship is y equals mx, where m represents the slope of the line. From this, we know what the slope is, we can read the slope, we can write an equation, and we can talk about these different proportional relationships using these equations. Your next steps are to turn in your notes for this lesson, complete the Build 3.3, and then take the 3.3 Mastery Check. Then you can continue on to Lesson 4. Good luck!